Today, I'm going to be opening up and tasting this 1970s bottling of black and white blended whiskey. And as a reference point, I'm going to be using this 1980s bottling of black and white blended whiskey. As a reminder, you can see the description field of this video for some links to black and white's history as well as other reviews I've done of black and white whiskeys. First, let's sort out when this quart of black and white was bottled. If you've been here before, you know it comes next. The alcohol volume is measured in proof. This sets it 1989 or earlier. The liquid volume is shown using US standard measurements, such as 1 quart. This practice ended in 1979. US internal revenue is notated on both sides of the federal tax strip. This practice ended in early 1977. The previous label style was still in use in 1974. This label style appears to have begun in 1975. So this was bottled sometime between 1975 and early 1977. 1970s black and white blended whiskey. That's a good pour. And here's its sparring partner, 1980s black and white blended whiskey. 1980s black and white. Mint and cinnamon, flower blossoms. There's a little bit of wasabi. Lots of baking spices, almost rye-like in its intensity. A little bit of almond butter. 1970s black and white blended whiskey. Toffee, milk chocolate. It's very nutty, almost like a nutty sherry. Dried fruits rather than fresh fruits. Vanilla bean and cinnamon, a lot of baked goods here. This is so much heavier and spicier and denser than even the 1980s bottling. Black and white from the 80s. Spicy and herbal, lots of spirit, but not raw, young spirit. Probably a little more sweetness than I noticed last week. Maybe a little bit of tapioca pudding. More mint, peach skins and apple skins. 1970s, black and white. Cheers. So the mouthfeel is also super thick and creamy. Those baking spices show up right in the palate too, with a little bit of chili oil. Here it feels a little more bourbon cask-like. There are some caramel sauce, caramel candy notes, some nutty notes. It's gingery, it's minty, figgy. The finish has a little bit of tobacco, root beer barrel candies. With time, it softens up a little bit, gets a little bit sweeter. I keep going back and forth between these two whiskeys, and I am finding a connection between the two, specifically on the palate. It's that spiciness, it's that gingeriness. The noses, though, are very, very different. The 1970s is much denser, much thicker, again, more sherry. 1980s seems a little lighter, a little prettier, a little more fruity floral. I like them both very much, but I think the 1970s black and white gets a step up because of the thickness in the palate and the richness in the nose. They're both gonna be a great joy to drink. Of course, I've got a full quart of the 1970s to put away. They're so good, I'm gonna combine them. My blend. Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
Papa.
Sounds like my time is up.